Hi there.
Hello everyone, welcome to another Flying Frog video. This morning, the 16th of December 2022, arrived this Pasped W-1 Skylark, which is made by the Pasped Aircraft Corporation in Glendale, California. Now, the Skylark itself has a 7-cylinder Scarab radial engine, which is 125 horsepower, or for those of you who like killer wasps, around about 95 kilowatts of power. So what we're going to do, this one is brought to us by LionHeart Simulations. So what we're going to do is get on in, have a look at this, and see if it is actually worth the $22.45 Australian or $15 US. But so far, as you can see, we get a few things with it. We get this lovely old fuel truck, this Mercury racing fuel truck with it as part of the package, and as you can see, some of the doors are open as well. So what we'll do is we'll get in and have a look around. So let's just start off at this end here. Now there's a nice lovely wooden prop, as you would expect for this era. Now this aircraft, if I don't recall if I said it or not, but it was from the 1930s, and this one actually flew 1935. Now, currently, I do believe there is one, or at least there was one still flying that was airworthy in the 2010s. I don't know if it still is or isn't. So there we go. So let's just get on in here and have a look at the modelling detail, and that's not too bad. You know, we're only talking about a $15 American product here, and that looks fairly good. Now, come on down. Now, I'm not going to get too much into it because, look, it's a cheap product. And as we get close, as you guys can see, you know, things do come out of focus a little bit. It's going to be the same with the rivet lines and the like as well. So, you know, it's not a super high fidelity aircraft, but we get a nice viewing distance and everything looks really fine with it. Now we do get 9 liveries with this, and there are 2 variants, so you actually get one with floats, which is really nice. And for this price, to get 2 variants, you know, floats and this type of aircraft, yeah, so far not too bad. So what we're going to do is going to hop on into the cockpit, and we will disconnect the fuel truck, close some doors, and generally have a good look around. Here we are now. Let's have a look around. Now, it does look, I don't know, a little bit cartoonish maybe, but yeah, okay, I can live with that. That's alright though. Now over here we do have a radio compartment, so, or at least they fitted in the radio, so that's not a problem. And transponder. Okay, so that's usually a glove box. Now we can close the doors, so let's just close the door there. Hey, why aren't you closing? Oh, there you go. Took its time. Right, let's see if we can, this one here will operate. Yeah, okay. You click them, they do take a little while to react. Right, now the views, let's have a look here. So we got that one there. Some interesting little ones. Now let's up and down. Now I'm not sure what that's for. I think that is for just checking your control surface on that side. Again, view out front, clear prop or whatever, what have you, or to make sure your struts are connected, which is, as we can see, our controls are there. Again, we've still got our fuel truck. Now, this is interesting because back in the day when they used to do the races, say from, you know, London to Paris or London to New York, whatever, they would carry a radio so they could find out what's going on. Obviously some spare spark plugs, a bit of chewing gum, and whatever tools or whatever's needed in there. And this was used in air races back in the heyday. So we got this view here. Okay, that's again for our glove box, which is fine. Now this is interesting here. What we got, and we can tie down, so it actually does give us a cover over the cockpit and wheel chocks as well. But if your cockpit's open like I've just had it and your doors were open so I could show you guys, you know, your door sticks through the cover, so just be aware of that. But that's still an interesting one. Now the battery door, which actually I didn't look. Oh, right, what I'll do is I'll go back out first and then I'll come back. Right, here we are at the battery door. So what we'll do is we'll just have on a look inside, and this is just mainly to show you guys the detail that LionHeart have at least gone into. So we got a crate with some oil, a battery, an X-side battery. I haven't seen an X-side battery in a long time. They're probably still out there, but who knows. So yeah, this is the compartment that you switch on the inside for the battery door. Right, so what I'll do now is I'll head back to the cockpit. Okay, here we are. So what we can do now is we can just close that door up. Okay, and we can get rid of the fuel truck now, so we don't need him. So that's where you get your fuel truck. So that one's gone. Right, now we do have a basic autopilot. So this is your master, so you turn it on so we can then put in a heading lock and an altitude hold. Alright. Right, so now our next view is pretty much, we got our magnetos here. Alright, mixtures, throttle. We got a primer over on the far left, the generator and battery switch. Now while we're here, let's have a look at the gauges. Now during the day they're not that clear, or at least to my eyes. So let's shimmy on in. So what we get a trim indicator, flaps, air speeds, the usual, but they're not that clear to read during the day. However, they are better at night, so which I will be showing you the night view. So what I'll do, I'll show you the night view before we get started. Okay, so here we have the night view. Now what we got here is we've got our switches, or at least panel lights, and a dome light. Now the dome light is up behind us there, which is as you can see, is quite bright, and there is a light that lights up the back compartment. So what I mean by, so as you can see, even with the dome light on, the dials all look far clearer. So let's just drop the dome light down a little bit. As you can see, look at that. That looks really not too bad. You know, I do like the look, and I like it actually, it's a bit easier, so we can just rotate these down a little bit. you know, and you can just, that's nice. It looks to me in this light a lot clearer than it does during the daylight. So that's quite nice. Okay, so here we go now. This one fairly easy to start. So I've already got the battery on, which is here. Alright, so what we do is turn on the generator. Now the fuel tap is already on. I do prefer that developers have them as off, as I have mentioned before. Now we do have our mixture, so let's just make sure that's in, and then our throttle. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just crack the throttle a little bit, because radial engines do prefer a little bit of throttle. Now we can close the cockpit, which I'll close that in a second. Now primer, so let's just give it a few pumps. Right, now then let's fuel pump over here. Should have put the fuel pump on first and then primed it. So what we'll do is we'll do that. This is in no particular order. I'm just going along as we go along. Now our start button is just here on this panel. So let's see if she's going to start for me. Clear prop. Oh! Oh, oh! Magnetos! You idiot! Don't forget your magnetos, people. Alright, magnetos to both. And we'll do this one again. Take two. Clear prop. Whoa, lovely sound. Lovely sound. Right, now then, let's just close the canopy up. No difference in the sound. That's disappointing. Hopefully the LionHeart will fix that one in a future update. Right, now while I am taxiing out, I will be showing you the liveries, and the final livery is actually with one of the planes that's got floats. Alright, so you get the same liveries whether you've got floats or no floats, which is fine. And I think, as I said, I think there's around about 9 all up, including this one. Throttle going. Right, so what I'll do is I will taxi on up, and while I'm taxiing up I'll be showing you the liveries. And as you can see, even before I really get going, there's not a lot of view on the outside at the moment from this position. So there's a few things I just didn't tell you. You got flaps here, so your flap switch, which you can use for takeoff, landing. So let's turn on our nav lights, and we'll leave it at landing. We'll just turn the lights on, it doesn't matter. I'm not PC, so it doesn't matter. Right, now also too, trimming is down here. Now that's the tail wheel. It's supposed to be locked. It's not locked, but it's not clickable anyway, which is fine. I usually just set a few degrees there. That'll be fine. Right. And be careful of the brakes. You will nose it over. Okay. Right. Let's try first stage flaps. See what happens, eh? Let's get going. Now I will expect this one to be pulled to the left. It's started already. So I've got in some right rudder. As you can see, there's not a lot of view out front. A little bit better now. Oh, there we go. Left the ground fairly easy. Flaps up. Not a lot of change in the pitch of the engine either, which is a little bit disappointing. But let's just trim her out. Way offline off the runway. Never mind. So, let's bank and yank. Fairly manoeuvrable, quite gentle. So let's hop on outside. Let's just get this trimming right. Drop the nose a little bit. Better. Now, interestingly enough, I noticed that the clock just spun right around. So, not sure. Oh no, altitude. Not sure what the go with that is. Right. Yeah, nice. Sounds not too bad on the outside. Wants to keep pushing that nose up. Righto, what I'll do is I'll just head on back and give you my final thoughts on this one. We've got fixed landing here so that we don't have to worry about obviously our gear going up or down. But for those of you who are interested in the old 1930s aircraft, this paint scheme was quite common back then, particularly for racing aircraft, and some of these were really nice flyers, and this one is fairly gentle, fairly easy to fly. So what we'll do is now is I'll just head on back, and what I'll do is when I'm lined up I'll come back. Okay, there's our runway there, off to our 10 o'clock. This will bring her on around. Slow this old girl up. And bring her in for a landing. Now there is, feel as though there is a bit of a bug with the altimeter. Altimeter. As you can see just then, it just spun right around. I don't think that's normal. So, yeah, I don't know what the go with that is. But, maybe LionHeart can have a look at it for us and get it fixed. Now I've got no throttle, and she does not really want to slow up too much. Again, we've got to be careful on our landing, because we don't want to nose over. Floating a little bit. Oh, a little bit of a bounce. Oh, see what I mean? Okay. So there we go. We're down. And what I'll do is I'll taxi on over to parking bay 6 and I will give you my final thoughts. Now while we're taxiing along, I just want to draw your attention to the sound package. It doesn't seem to... what's the word for it? It's like there's something else off to the side that's making the noise rather than the engine itself. It just doesn't seem right, and it seems to be running at a slightly higher rev than what my engine is running at. Which, yeah, it's something that's not quite right. But anyway, I'll bring all that up in just a few moments. Pasped W-1 Skylark, brought to us by LionHeart Creations. Is it worth $22.45? Yep, I believe so. I think they've done quite enough for this one. Is it perfect? No way. The sound needs work. You know, for a radial engine, I would like a bit more thump in the noise, in the sound from the exhaust and the motors, in the motor itself. And there's something like, it sounds like a bulldozer is working off to one side. It's got that type of diesel sound to it, which I find a little bit disconcerting. Also too, the sound not changing when inside the cockpit or when closing the canopy. So I would like that to be addressed as well. Its flight characteristics are very good. It's a beautiful looking aircraft. Like I said, you've got all those other liveries, and with it coming with floats as well. So yeah, for 15 US dollars, 22 Australian dollars, $22.50. Yeah, I feel as though it is worthwhile. Would I recommend it? It's not for everyone. Obviously, some people like the modern stuff, some people like the old stuff. Me, I like this old stuff. This is right up my alley. It's not as good as the Coronado DS18, I feel as though, which is what is the same price as well, and the modelling and detailing on that Coronado DS Model 18 is fantastic. So yeah, that's a standard that I think Lionheart need to look at. But I feel as though too they've added enough with the fuel truck and the covers and things like that. So they've tried to add a little bit extra in, and kudos to them as well. So out of 5, I would probably give this a 3.5 to 4. And yeah, and would I fly it again? Definitely I'll fly it occasionally. It's getting a bit harder for me to, in all honesty, to fly lots of aircraft these days, as I have so many. But on that note, we are, 1 week out now from Christmas. And so Merry Christmas to everyone, for those of you who celebrate Christmas. And for those of you who don't, still have a nice time with your family. And have a safe New Year. Goodbye everyone. Thank you.